Hey guys, Jade here again. The new what if Poe was raised by Oogway. Now if you guys don't know who Poe or Oogway is, then, well, your childhood either sucked or you don't watch enough TV or cartoons or anything. Because, well, possibly one of the biggest, I would say, meme creators has a name with, his name is Oogway, or Oogway, because he has a gay after the W in Oogway. But yeah. But also, he also has a pretty decent restaurant. But then also, that's from social media, Oogway is also just a natural meme because his quotes are fun and his voice is funny. So, yeah. But, yeah. Now, Poe is the main character of Kung Fu Panda. And, well, his name is Xiao Po, but Poe. Now, in this one, Poe would have the same story where his parents are killed, or his mom is at least. But instead of Poe's mom putting him in a crate, Oogway would arrive to save the pandas and relocate them. So I assume they didn't. I assume they relocated all on their own, but this time they have help relocating. And yeah, Shen ends up retreating, and Oogway would make sure the few remaining pandas find a nice, safe mountain far, far, far away from Shen's army. Bit my tongue. Ow. Oogway goes to the battleground to respectfully bury some of the to respectfully bury some people, like some of the dead pandas, and yeah. So because of that, pause. Sorry, my tongue bled from me biting it. It hurt. But yeah, now Oogway would basically go back to the battlefield where he had pushed away Shen's army and would bury the remaining pandas, but he had heard cooing and chewing. Oogway goes over to see what's going on, only to see a baby panda who's covered in radishes and broken pieces of a crate, and he's eating radishes. Now Oogway immediately could tell this is the Dragon Warrior. So with this Oogway would take in Poe and start raising him. Because who else would raise a Dragon Warrior? He'd give him to Shifu, who's kind of just now. I think people assume Tai Lung is about his 40s, and Poe is, I believe, also in his 20s, but not like. Tai Lung is like 20 years older than Poe. He has a lot of experience. I would believe Tai Lung is in his 40s. I can believe Poe is in his 20s. So 40s, 20s. At this point, Poe is a baby, and Tai Lung is an adult. And I can see like Shifu already raising Tai Lung. So Oogway himself will take on a pupil and raise Poe. But long after, well, Oogway reveals he found the Dragon Warrior. He's raising the Dragon Warrior. Tai Lung is not him. Or Shifu's like, Oogway, this is Dragon Warrior Tai Lung. I believe it. Well, Oogway then says, no, this cannot be. And Shifu's like, why not? Oogway says, because I'm raising Dragon Warrior. This immediately shocks Tai Lung and Oogway, and Tai Lung and Oogway, not Oogway, well, Tai Lung fights Shifu, and then Oogway puts Tai Lung in his place. So, yeah. Well, place and then prison. But yeah. Oogway and Shifu couldn't think of a name for Poe. But eventually, Shifu and Oogway go to eat noodles with Poe, find out if he wants to eat noodles or something. And as a joke, Mr. Ping started calling started calling Poe Xiao Po. And, well, Shifu and Oogway both called him that, so his name eventually just became Xiao Po or Poe. And, well, Oogway kind of considered Poe his adopted son, but never called him son. He called him my boy or my pupil. So, yeah. And when Tigress arrives, well, Shifu started encouraging Oogway to give him Poe to train him from time to time, and Shifu will actually get his wish. Poe and Tigress grow up alongside each other, training hard. And immediately, Poe is still like a bit himself, but he is still like, he's a bit more respectful and calm because Oogway. And Poe's first thoughts upon seeing Tigress' skill is, whoa, she's awesome. And at this point in the relationship, Tigress hadn't really fully understood that Shifu didn't acknowledge her like he acknowledged Tai Lung, where canon we see her remembering him having sad looks at her because she wasn't Tai Lung. In this one, Oogway doesn't have those sad looks. He's more like, you're good, but Poe and Tai Lung are better. He doesn't, I won't say that, he's like, he gives her a normal look. She doesn't really feel unaccepted. She feels like, okay, he's treating me like a student. I want to be his daughter, but a student still works for me. My bad. She's more like, yeah, you're like you don't think of me as your daughter. That's okay, but I'm still glad you acknowledge some of me, some of my existence. So she's not as dejected as canon. So yeah. Now, Poe developed his own style of kung fu like he did in canon, but also learned every single style of kung fu from the Furious Five: monkey style, crane style, tiger style, monkey, crane, viper, tiger, then monkey, crane, tiger, viper, mantis, and I think leopard, but also dragon style, because Poe kind of learns that as well. So there's 7 styles that I think only 6 are used. Poe would use the 7th, but also the 8th being his own unique style of kung fu, based off just his big body. But obviously the story has not really started yet in canon. We go to about, I'd say Poe's like early 20s, like 23. So when the story starts, at this point, we're going to say Poe's 16. His open-mindedness and a way of so many martial art masters in the world inspires him to travel and learn their skills. But at this point, nobody knows who Poe is besides like Shifu, Mr. Ping, Oogway, and Tigress. The Furious Five are coming soon, but Poe would not be there for them. But yeah, But Poe eventually leaves, and he would go about the world fighting different martial artists, but avoiding mass conflicts like Shen's army. He didn't even stop by like Tai Lung's prison, but was encouraged to not go down to see Tai Lung. So yeah, but Poe kind of just finds out like he wants to try out a few things and find out a pretty easy way to break out of the pressure point cuffs. The point where Poe's basically a master of every martial art known in China, because canonically they are in China. Poe becomes a master of every martial art and technique in China over the next 7 years. So pretty easy for him. By the time he does return 7 years later, he's 23. And he is the traditional Dragon Warrior garb that he has in the 3rd movie after basically unlocking Chi to its full capability. But yeah. Poe's also a bit slimmer, but he's still you can tell he's a bit of a belly. This is due to a big change in his diet. Oogway did give Poe a lot of noodles, but also Shifu made Poe train like his life would end the moment he stopped. Point where Poe can barely even eat for days after training because, simply put, he is too tired to move sometimes. So yeah. But also, Oogway would also have Poe go without days of eating or drinking anything for the sake of meditation, having Poe basically live off chi, and he can do that. It's pretty easy for him, actually. But the thing is, he's still a bear, mainly a panda. So laziness and food are kind of his favorite things. So he still does eat and sleep a lot, but did give him stomach. But if he did not act like a panda, this thing would just be he'd be Hulk, basically. 6'3" Hulk, but Hulk. Now, eventually, like I like a joke that I want to make. I don't know if it's appropriate. Best way to put Poe's appetite is a family of 20 that is living through the Henan famine. Like Poe eats like he is starving. So yeah, Henan famine is kind of a famine that went on between the Japanese and Chinese War, and I'm sure Henan was a spot in China. And yeah, you get that. Or you will at some point, but yeah. Now, when Poe returns, the four members of the Furious Four are glad to meet him, because they haven't met him before. Tigress is the 5th member who has met Poe. She grew up with him. But, the first one to speak is Mantis. Mantis says, so you're the great Poe that the one Tigress calls her strongest opponent. And Mantis means looking Poe up and down, bouncing around his body. And Mantis doesn't point out what he noticed, but he's jumping around Poe. Then, in Mantis' head, he kind of thinks, dang, this guy is he's hard as steel. Well, he has to say that out loud. And then Monkey ends up looking at Poe and is the one to insult him. He says, he looks kind of bad. Are you sure he's... Suddenly Poe is gone, and so is Monkey. Monkey had just blinked, and he was not in his usual spot. He then looked up, seeing that his tail was tied to a flagpole, and he just yelled, "Get me down from here! How is he that fast? He's too fat!" And Poe has a bit of a Pumbaa attitude, like Pumbaa from Lion King, where he's like, "You just call me fat, you just call me big, you just call me a pig." And immediately, Poe has that attitude for a good reason. And Tigress kind of mentions it, saying, that fat jokes get on your nerves when we were kids or teenagers. And Poe's like, I went around the world for 7 years being laughed at by martial arts masters for being big. I'm done with it. I don't let someone who can be beaten by me in seconds call me fat. Or if anything, he's too skinny. And Tiger just had a small laugh at that. So did Oogway and Shifu as they had walked down the stairs to see Po. And they had both gotten letters from different martial arts masters saying, your student basically beat the ever-loving crap out of me, and because I called him fat. So I can tell if he has an attitude problem or self-esteem problem. But yeah. This is about the same day that Oogway would canonically announce the Dragon Warrior, and instead of announcing who it is, he says, I've known the Dragon Warrior for years, I've been training him in secret, and he just returned to the Jade Palace. His name is Xiao Po. And everyone's happy to meet him. Or not meet him, but know his title. And Po's allowed to look at the scroll, and Oogway tells him to grab it. But all Po does is really just do one simple hop off one foot, and, well, he's already up higher than the scroll is, and he just grabs the scroll, landing, opens it, understands the lesson immediately, because he had to learn this lesson a long time ago. And the lesson is believe in yourself, what Po would add on to believing in your own power, to believe in your spirit. Even if you know you're strong, even if you know you're strong, try to believe in more than that. Try to believe your skill is greater than your strength. And he kind of says this out loud. And Tiger says she learned that lesson the hard way. And she mentions that she thought Po was going to be useless because all he has is physical power. But then she saw how great his skill was and how fast he learned. And Tiger's kind of had a small laugh about that. So yeah. Now, Po eventually had to read and learn from every scroll in the Jade Palace, because Oogway didn't let him do that when he was younger. He wanted him to do it once he got the Dragon Warrior scroll. So yeah, but due to him reading every scroll that involved martial arts or just stories, he learned of Oogway's past with Kai and the truth of the pandas. So with this Po decided to learn Chi, as he can do it. He already had a small amount of Chi, but now, or not, he has a large amount of Chi, but he has a small amount of control over it. But now that he has the knowledge of this comes natural to me, all I need to do is put my mind and spirit into it. I've only been putting in my power. Because Po was not fully spiritually connected. He meditated a lot, but he was starving, so his mind was a bit off. And Oogway knew this. But now that Po started to learn Chi and take it seriously, he quickly learned how to control Chi on the same level that he does probably in the third movie. He's overall as strong as, well, Dragon Form Po, but more skilled. So yeah, just third movie Po power, but like a billion times the skill. So yeah, like this Po can pretty easily take on every zombie with pretty much no difficulty. Same for Kai. He can take on basically every enemy with no difficulty. Wouldn't be that hard for him. So yeah. And once Po had finally learned how to fully use Chi, he starts to go meet with Oogway with Shifu. And, well, they basically sit down, eat peaches, meditate, have a bit of fun. But eventually Po would show off his full Chi control, basically regrowing the peaches and the sakura blossoms, but also showing off how much Chi he can emit. Kind of almost terraforming the entire cliff they were on, and with how much Chi he's emitting. He's regrowing flowers, just making rock erode at the same time. He's accelerating nature. But also at some point he would just let come a blast of Chi, and basically just eradicate nearly an entire, well, I'm just going to put it, is nearly 3 football fields worth of just stone. And Po says this little bit he's going to do so that he doesn't wake up everyone in their small village. And Oogway says, if you can do it on a greater scale than what I just saw, you no longer need my help. And Po's like, what do you mean I no longer need your help? Oogway tells Shifu, now is the time. And with this, Oogway kind of gives his staff to Shifu and tells Po that he was waiting for Po to discover his spirit power. He already had the physical power of a dragon, now he has a spirit. Po is then tapped on the chest by Oogway as a giant golden ripple would go through his body. And Po then would inherit the last bit of Oogway's physical power, but also he kind of gets flashbacks to his training with when it came to martial arts. The only person who could compare to Po in terms of martial arts was Oogway. but now no one could. Po basically learned everything there is to know about combat. Where Po is essentially the god of combat. He's a dragon warrior. One where Shifu has like a confident thought of. It's not hard. It wouldn't be hard to believe that Po knows every martial art this world has seen now. And he is not wrong. Po likely does. So it's the point where basically Oogway kind of had like a yin and yang thing where he left Po with the what was it? Okay. My notes had so many grammar errors in it that I had to redo it. But basically, Oogway had left Po with the yang. Oogway himself turned to yin. So basically, Po's left all the physical power. Oogway himself was basically turned into a spirit. And he now resides within the spiritual realm, so to say. But all that Po and Shifu had heard as Oogway was descending away was, "Good job, my son." And it kind of could help make Po just shed a simple tear. So, yeah. Now, Po was surprised, and Shifu would just start twirling around Oogway's staff, telling Po he's gonna need to learn how to use this. So, all night, Po began teaching Shifu the correct way to use Oogway's staff, but also how to use Chi. So yeah. Now, in the meantime, Tai Lung was attempting to break out of prison, and he succeeded at that attempt. Po quickly got word since he could basically feel Tai Lung's Chi. It was very powerful. So, with this, Shifu decides to set out, telling Po he's going to go stall Tai Lung, teach the Furious Five all that you can, so that they may be able to stall Tai Lung. And Po does as told. Po arrived at the training area, means training the Furious Five as much as he can, as he basically broke down what happened to Oogway, and now it's happening with Tai Lung. Now, we have characters like Tigress who are much more skilled, probably basically stronger than any version of herself in the story. So with this, Po began teaching her everything he knew about Chi, while everyone else was learning martial arts. The point where Tigress, after just a few hours, learned how to use Chi on a pretty average level, because she was already so close to learning how to use it. And Po is also the greatest teacher ever at this point, because he knows his best friend. So he taught her in a way that she'll learn quickly. Now, batting up onto Shifu versus Tai Lung. Shifu is stronger than canon, so when he fought Tai Lung, he fought for a while, to the point where he fought Tai Lung on an equal level for an hour. When Tai Lung thought like, I'm gonna have to kill this old man for him to get out of my way, or else I'm gonna keep fighting him for all eternity. Because he's fighting to kill me because he knows he won't win any other way. So Tai Lung pretended to going for killing blow to stun Shifu, but quickly as soon as his blow was about to land, well, he kicked right in the face. And this is the fourth point where Tai Lung's like, Shifu can't hit this hard. He's not this strong or this fast. But then suddenly, he's kicked basically all across the bridge, bounced off the rock, and through the other bridge. By the time he landed, he rubbed his face, and saw Tigress standing on the other side of the two bridges he just went through. Tigress had a slight smirk, and Tai Lung basically says, he actually made me put in some effort, and now the little Tigress comes to attack. He wanted to go on an entire rant, but Tigress just says, "Do all of you villains talk so much?" It was her version of Po's chit-chat. And immediately, Tai Lung got a bit fed up at that. And immediately, well, Tigress and Tai Lung entered a very quick fight. And she then actually asked her, saying, "So, you're Tigress, the one Shifu trained like you were the next version of me. Tell me, how did you get so strong if you're Shifu's student?" As in case telling you that Shifu's teachings are not what made him strong. It was the techniques. Tai Lung is a genius on his own. He didn't really need those. He needed to learn by himself to be this strong. I'm going to phrase it a different way. Shifu didn't really give him much. Tai Lung just absorbed it quicker. If Shifu were to teach someone normally how he taught Tai Lung, they would not become him. Sounds like, yeah, if he trained you the same way he trained me, you would never be this strong. So how are you this strong? Tiger simply says, this is what happens when the Dragon Warrior emerges. And she's basically lying, saying that she's a Dragon Warrior that she doesn't canon. But she knows it's just to actually make him a bit interested in her. Because for a second, he actually believes it. She's really strong. But after about like 5 minutes of just sparring, he's like, "Huh, you lied to me." And she's like, "Yeah, I did." And he's like, "You're still pretty strong. I'm gonna finish this fight." So yeah. And as the two fought, they were going blow for blow to the point where it felt like they were fighting for years. The point where the battle simply was not about strength, was not about skill, speed, or strength, because they were nearly equal in every way. This was just an endurance battle where Tai Lung had a slight advantage over her. By the time the fight was over, Tai Lung would just laugh maniacally and then fall over. As he fell over, he would basically just try to crawl away, and he did for nearly a mile before just fainting under a tree. And he woke up nearly 3 days later. When he woke up, he had smelled tea. He jumped up immediately, at the top of the tree, staring down at Poe. Tai Lung would then kind of feel the feeling of power that Poe held, and just says, "Finally, the real dragon warrior. Our battle would be legendary." Before you can say legendary, Poe just says, Poe just said, "Good, you're up. Now quit chit-chatting. Your voice is annoying." Tai Lung immediately got annoyed, saying, "Is that all you people do is interrupt people when they speak?" Poe says, "No, you can't just interrupt villains because you guys are more annoying than usual." Tai Lung would just leap at Poe as he's in pouncing stance, but Poe would quickly appear behind him, grabbing him by the tail and tying him to the tree, or at least to a tree branch. Tai Lung would try to uncurl his tail or untie it, but immediately as soon as he was trying to do that, Poe would just basically hit him with a nerve strike using one of his claws, and Tai Lung is paralyzed completely. Poe would then basically just proceed to just hit every pressure point in Tai Lung's body as hard as humanly possible, or painfully possible. And with that, Tai Lung's basically just permanently paralyzed from that because he can no longer move. Basically, with strength that's enough to destroy mountains when he's holding back, but also just the power of Oogway. Tai Lung is not moving ever again unless Poe wills it. So with this, Tai Lung is just done for. He's no longer moving. But instead, with this, Poe would have a new section of the Jade Palace built that he had carved up pretty quickly with his chi. They just needed to install it. Poe would then basically install new cuffs. At the point, I think the one canonically were like the 18-point pressure cuffs, I believe. Poe basically makes them instead of 1800. And Tai Lung's basically just held permanently with those. Hands, feet, tail, all that. So, yeah. And with this kind of ends the story. There's really no figure fight versus Tai Lung. It's Shifu and Tigress, and they nearly win both times. So yeah, only reason that Tai Lung won against Shifu is because superior physical power. Only reason he won against Tigress, better endurance. He had basically one category over each of them, and that is it. That's how strong Poe has made them. So with this, we basically have like a small time skip, probably just a few months, I believe, probably 6 months between the second movie, where it's Shen. And honestly, I'm not going to go over that in this part, but I'm telling you right now, the Dragon Warriors are all made. Someone who are basically, they all learn every technique that Poe will learn in the second movie. In the third movie, they learn how to use chi. They learn how to basically kind of just let things go, so to say. They learn to become basically the greatest martial artist China has ever seen, but Poe is still at the pinnacle of it. How do I phrase this? Poe is the greatest martial artist the universe has ever seen. Tigress is the greatest martial artist the world has ever seen. Here's the greatest martial artist China has ever seen. So, basically, they're unmatched in China. Only person who would probably stand a chance might be Kai. But they don't know that just yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of What If Oogway raised Poe. Alright, adios.